So after the top cover is removed, you have to remove this white thing over here, this side, first. You basically stick a screwdriver in and pull it out. And you can pull it all the way out or leave it hanging. I like to pull it all the way out. That aside, and then you flip it over and use the pick tool to remove the insert. And there's going to be a pink one to remove here. You can normally just have one pink wire going to it. And there's also one over here with black and green wire going into it. And normally just have black and green wire, blue and green wire going into it. And then you add a gray wire. So we're adding a gray wire to this one, the blue and green, and we're adding another pink to the pink one. So we'll just remove the pink one. This one's already been done. So to remove it, there's a little clip in here. You have to push towards the inside, down, after you remove the white part. So once you got it out, there's usually just the pink one here, but we'll be adding this other pink wire by basically just soldering it on there. So you want to get pink wire that's around this long, about 2 feet, and you're going to run it the same length as this fuel pump and fan wire, and you're going to put it in this plug, which isn't there yet. So you'll just have these 2 plugs and these 2 wires, and you want to run the gray one and the pink one about the same length. Then you'll strip down the pink one and take a soldering iron and basically just solder the pink one to the side of this plug. And it's important that you solder it in this fashion, so that's to the side, because if you don't, then the white thing will interfere and not go in and lock it back. So once you're done soldering the pink one to this wire and the gray one to the blue and green wire, then you just insert them back in where they went. Or just simply pushing them in. Now click. And then tug it to make sure they're in there. Put this thing back in. Then you'll want to insert it back into the cover. There's nothing special about this, it just clicks into place.
The real test is when you actually go to put it on the
Put the relays back in. Put the cover back on. Then you'll take those wires you ran, the pink and the gray, and you'll slip this so it opens in the normal spot it usually opens. And and put those inside, and then wrap it with electrical tape, just like it was before. Then you want to cut all these to the same length. You want to cut them past the tags here, around half the length. They usually come out to here, so around right there. And then to put on these connectors, the 280 connectors, you need to strip them first. So you could use a stripping tool or regular wire strippers. You just take a little bit off. And then you put the insulator on first. That way you don't forget to do it later. And then here's the 280 connector plug things. And there's two different types. You have your lower gauge one and your higher gauge one. The lower gauge one has wider little fins here. And use this crimper tool for the 280 connectors, so it's 280 on it. And you basically load it in there. For the higher gauge one, you want to load in the middle one. The lower gauge one, you want to load in the big one on the end. Load it in there like that. Make sure it's not crimping this side. Stick the wire in. Crimp it. Push down hard. Make sure it's crimped good. Pull it. Then you're going to want to bend this a little bit. So it holds a little water connector on there. So you bend it inward first, and then crimp them down just using a pair of needle nose pliers. And then you get your 280 connector, which will be a female connector, and you want to put them in order. The pink one goes into A, the small gray one goes into B, the blue one goes into C, and the larger gray one goes into D. And then after they look like this, you make sure they have a little water connector on. You just simply insert them in. And then click, make sure it's in there. And then this part is done.